The year was 1929. America was riding high, the roaring 20s were in full swing, jazz filled the air, prosperity seemed endless. But a storm was brewing. On October 29th it broke, Black Tuesday. The stock market crashed. Millions of shares were traded in a panic. Prices plummeted. Fortunes vanished overnight. The American dream turned into a nightmare. The crash sent shockwaves across the globe. It signaled the beginning of the Great Depression. The world would never be the same. The crash crippled the American economy. Businesses shuttered their doors, factories fell silent, millions lost their jobs, unemployment soared to unimaginable heights. Men once proud now stood in breadlines. Families struggled to put food on the table. Soup kitchens became lifelines for the desperate. Shantytowns, dubbed Hoovervilles, sprung up across the nation. They stood as grim reminders of the nation's plight. The American spirit, however, was not broken. People helped each other. They shared what little they had. They clung to hope. The Great Plains, once a symbol of American abundance, turned to dust. This vast expanse of fertile land, which had once promised endless opportunities and prosperity, was now a barren wasteland. The dreams of countless farmers and their families were shattered as they watched their livelihoods disintegrate before their eyes. A devastating drought gripped the region. Crops withered and died. The relentless sun beat down, day after day, with no respite. The once lush fields teeming with life were now desolate and lifeless. Farmers, who had once been the backbone of America's agricultural success, found themselves helpless against nature's fury. The topsoil turned to dust, carried by the wind in massive black blizzards. These dust storms, known as black blizzards, swept across the plains, darkening the skies and choking the air. Homes, barns, and entire towns were buried under layers of dust. The land, once so full of promise, had become a nightmarish landscape. The Dust Bowl, they called it. It was a fitting name for such a catastrophic event. The Dust Bowl era became synonymous with despair and hardship, a time when the American spirit was tested to its limits. Families struggled to survive, clinging to hope in the face of overwhelming adversity. John Steinbeck captured the despair in his novel, The Grapes of Wrath. Through his poignant storytelling, Steinbeck gave a voice to the voiceless, shedding light on the plight of those who had been forgotten. His words painted a vivid picture of the suffering and resilience of the people who lived through this dark chapter in American history. Families packed their meager belongings. With heavy hearts, they left behind the only homes they had ever known. The decision to leave was not made lightly, but staying meant certain ruin. They gathered what little they had, hoping to find a better future elsewhere. They piled into rickety cars. These vehicles, often held together by little more than hope and determination, became their lifelines. Overloaded with possessions and family members, they set out on a journey filled with uncertainty and danger. They journeyed west, seeking work and a better life. The road was long and arduous, fraught with challenges at every turn. Yet they pressed on, driven by the promise of a new beginning in the fertile lands of California. California, the promised land, offered little solace. Jobs were scarce. Prejudice ran deep. The reality of life in California was far from the dream they had envisioned. They faced discrimination and hostility, struggling to find work and make ends meet in a land that seemed to reject them at every turn. The Joad family, immortalized in Steinbeck's book, embodied the struggle of millions. Their story was a microcosm of the larger experience, capturing the essence of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable hardship. Through their eyes, readers could feel the pain, the hope, and the unyielding determination of an entire generation. They faced hardship with resilience. Despite the overwhelming odds, they refused to give up. Their strength and perseverance became a testament to the enduring human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope can prevail. Their story became an American epic. The tale of the Dust Bowl and the families who lived through it has become an integral part of the American narrative, a symbol of resilience and the relentless pursuit of a better life. It serves as a powerful reminder of the strength and courage that define the American spirit. Section 4. Hoover's Failure, A Nation's Cry for Help. President Herbert Hoover seemed overwhelmed by the crisis. His policies, slow and inadequate, failed to stem the tide of despair. The people grew disillusioned. They demanded action. Hoover blankets, they called their newspapers, used for warmth. Hoover flags were empty pockets turned inside out. Hoover's presidency became synonymous with the Depression's hardship. The nation yearned for a leader who understood their plight. They wanted someone to offer hope. Section 5. Shadows of Despair. Crime in the Time of Need. Desperation drove some to desperate measures. Crime rates soared. Robberies became commonplace. Gang violence plagued cities. The notorious John Dillinger terrorized the Midwest. He became a folk hero to some, a symbol of resistance against a system that had failed them. Bonnie and Clyde, another infamous duo, captured the public's imagination. Their exploits, romanticized in the media, reflected the lawlessness of the era. Section 6. A New Deal, A New Hope, The Road to Recovery. In 1932, Franklin Delano Roosevelt offered hope to a nation in despair. The Great Depression had left millions of Americans unemployed and destitute, with little faith in the future. Roosevelt's message was clear and powerful. I pledge myself to a new deal for the American people, he declared with conviction. This promise resonated deeply with the American public, who were desperate for change and leadership. Roosevelt's New Deal ushered in an era of unprecedented government intervention in the economy. It was a bold and ambitious plan designed to provide immediate relief, foster economic recovery, and implement financial reforms. Programs like the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Works Progress Administration put people back to work, building infrastructure and revitalizing communities. These initiatives not only provided jobs but also restored a sense of purpose and dignity to countless Americans. Social Security, one of the cornerstones of the New Deal, provided a safety net for the elderly and unemployed. It was a revolutionary concept that ensured a basic level of security for the most vulnerable members of society. The New Deal didn't end the Depression overnight. The economic challenges were too deep and complex for a quick fix. However, it laid the groundwork for long-term recovery and reform. But it gave Americans hope. It instilled a renewed sense of optimism and belief that better days were ahead. Communities began to rebuild, and families found reasons to smile again. It restored their faith in the government. For the first time in years, people felt that their leaders were genuinely working to improve their lives and address their needs. It set the stage for recovery. The New Deal's legacy is a testament to the power of collective action and the enduring spirit of the American people. It reminds us that even in the darkest times, hope and determination can pave the way to a brighter future. Section 7. Echoes of the Past, Lessons Learned, Future Secured. The Great Depression was a time of immense hardship. Families were torn apart, and communities struggled to survive. Bread lines and soup kitchens became a common sight, as people lined up for hours just to get a meal. The economic collapse affected everyone, from the richest to the poorest, leaving no one untouched. It tested the limits of the American spirit. People had to find new ways to cope with their dire circumstances. Many lost their homes and had to live in makeshift shantytowns known as Hoovervilles. Despite the overwhelming adversity, the American people showed incredible resilience and determination. But it also revealed the nation's resilience. The government implemented safeguards. Financial regulations were strengthened. New policies were introduced to stabilize the economy and prevent such a disaster from happening again. These measures were crucial in restoring public confidence and rebuilding the nation's financial system. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC, was created. This institution provided a safety net for bank deposits, ensuring that people's savings were protected even if a bank failed. The FDIC played a vital role in restoring trust in the banking system. These measures aimed to prevent another economic catastrophe. The government introduced a series of economic reforms designed to regulate the stock market, protect investors, and promote fair business practices. These reforms were essential in creating a more stable and secure financial environment. The Great Depression serves as a stark reminder. It reminds us of the fragility of our economic systems and the importance of vigilance. The lessons learned from this period have shaped modern economic policies and practices. It reminds us of the importance of economic stability. Maintaining a stable economy is crucial for the well-being of society. It ensures that people have access to jobs, resources, and opportunities for growth and development. It highlights the need for social safety nets. Programs like Social Security and unemployment insurance were established to provide support for those in need. These safety nets are essential in protecting the most vulnerable members of society. It underscores the power of collective action. The Great Depression showed that when people come together, they can overcome even the most daunting challenges. Community support and solidarity were key factors in helping people survive and rebuild their lives. The echoes of the past guide us. They remind us of the importance of learning from history and applying those lessons to our present and future. By understanding the mistakes and successes of the past, we can make better decisions and create a more secure and prosperous future. They ensure that such suffering is never repeated. The lessons learned from the Great Depression have helped shape a more resilient and robust economic system. By remembering and honoring the struggles of those who came before us, we can work towards a future where such hardships are a thing of the past.